Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Carrie. I'm the operations coordinator here at the Alva Manville Area Chamber of Commerce. And I wanted to introduce our speaker today. I wanted to let everyone know about Arlene Hernandez. She actually just did a business builders for us not too long ago. But she's the Workplace Solutions Officer for BBVA. And today she's going to be talking about how businesses obtain credit. Arlene hosts a number of seminars, and she's already done one for us, and more than likely she'll do another one for us down the road, which we're excited about. Seminars on financial literacy for BBVA. In this seminar, she'll help us better understand how small businesses can build and maintain their credit with local banks. So we're very excited to have her again. And so everybody, through digital, welcome Arlene. Thank you for being here, Miss Arlene.
Hi, thank you so much for inviting me again. I enjoyed the last Business Builders topic, and as a Workplace Solutions Officer, networking with the Alva Manville Chamber and the great members. So thank you again for inviting me, and I'm excited, and I'll take you up on that offer to speak again.
Excellent, excellent. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. Today we're learning how businesses obtain credit. I think we have your PowerPoint up and going.
Okay, great. So just as I start right now, and I know if there's anyone that joins, feel free to text or, chat in, and we can answer at the end. This is a very important topic, especially now due to the pressing times that we're in. Businesses, cities, states are starting to kind of release a little bit of the stay-at-home work orders, and so businesses are probably managing their finances. They're having to look at their budgets and credits and everything. So one of the topics that I speak about is the businesses obtaining credit. And so we're going to speak about that today. And as you mentioned, I am a Workplace Solutions Officer. What does that mean? That's pretty much business development. I go out and I seek small businesses, small, middle, large markets. I work with communities as well, nonprofits. I help them with their fundraising. And I just pretty much am a liaison between their solutions, their financial needs, and I provide them solutions. And I get them in contact with any specialist at BBVA. So a branch manager, financial services rep, investment, mortgages. BBVA has a listing of product solutions that can help anyone on the personal and the consumer side. And unlike other financial and I'm excited to talk today on how businesses obtain credit. So let's get going before that happens again. Okay, so in this workshop, you'll learn how small businesses build and maintain credit. That's always a big question that comes up. What are us lenders looking for and looking at when a small business is looking to apply. Explore how creditworthiness is measured for small businesses. Examine the connection between personal and business credit. A lot of questions surrounding that. Yes, your personal credit is a determining factor, and we'll dive deep into that as well. Identify the documents you'll need for small business credit applications. Okay, so what is creditworthiness? So think about it. Lenders consider several factors when assessing creditworthiness. We as lenders and in the underwriting aspect of it, there is financial obligations that they take a look at, the spending, how you have been with your personal budget? Do your habits reflect your financial responsibility? Do you have stable personal income and or business revenue to pay all your financial obligations? And has your business been in existence and generating revenue for a few years? A question that gets asked quite a bit is, how long do you have to be in business in order to apply for credit? And that right there is, we take a look at 2 years, 2 years, and then we go from there. So it is a question that's asked quite a bit, and we want to make sure that everyone understands. But we still have options as lenders, and looking through credit. There's still options out there for those startup businesses, okay? And we'll talk through that as well. Do you have a history of follow-through, such as staying at a job or building your expertise? That is taken a look at as well. It is a little bit of a resume, your story. Why did you start your business? What did it go through? What's your business plan look like, and so forth and so on. So there are 5 C's of credit, and the 5 C's of credit is very similar to the personal. It's capacity, your personal ability, and your business's ability to repay the loan currently and in the future. Capacity, think about it. The credit that you have out, very simple math, 5,000, are you overextending yourself, or are you paying down and having 50% to less? A good capacity is about a good 30% or less owed on your debt. Okay, so that's a good rule of thumb. Capital, the funds that you have personally invested in your business, including profits that have been retained in the businesses. Capital can definitely be considered, what you have in investments, your 401ks, your liquidity as well, your liquid cash, what you have on hand. Collateral, any personal or business assets that the lender can take in case you cannot pay that debt. Equipment is always a big one. Your deeds, what do you have on hand that can be utilized as a, hey, this is what I have, this is what I've paid off, this is, can stand for something when looking at the overall picture. Character, yes, character is one of the 5 C's of credit. Your personal and professional history of delivering on commitments. So character would mean your personal credit, what you have out there as well, and reviewed. We review that. Conditions, the purpose of the loan, and also the financial prospects in your industry, the economy, and any other external factors that might affect your business. So what pretty much is going to be your competition, and how do you are ranged or rated against them? So it definitely is one that is taken a look at, and not the end all be all, but these are the 5 C's of what is taken a look at on how a business can obtain credit. So there is a case study here, and Jovina is a 46-year-old entrepreneur who wants to expand her small sewing business. She started the business as a hobby. This is a typical one, right? Someone could do something at home very good, and then it can just, through the viral sensation, right? Facebook, Etsy, all of that, the demand becomes a lot. And so that's where you see, Shark Tank, so to speak, come up, and you propose because you can't handle the demand of the request. So therefore you need the income, right? The capital to back you up. So 2 years ago, her daughter made a website for the business. Sales skyrocketed. She was able to start paying off her personal loan from the income. She has 3 credit cards, 1 business and 2 personal. She pays her credit cards and her personal loans on time. She always pays more than the minimum balance, but she has never paid off any debt in full. She owns a car that she has had for 8 years and rents an apartment. Hasn't had any other employment since having her children 15 years ago. So pretty much it is, you know, what do we consider on that? She comes in, she's wanting to apply, which C's will her credit card history affect when a lender is considering whether to give her a loan. So capacity and, you know, the character as well, how she pays it, because that is something that she needs to consider. Considering the number of assets that Jovina owns, which C or C's will her asset ownership affect when a lender is considering whether to give her a loan? Well, the collateral on her auto loan is, you know, it doesn't really withstand because of the year, unfortunately, and cars depreciate. We would probably take in any other situation, we would ask about her equipment. What did she, you know, pay for it? Did she have ownership of it? And this can, again, the case study can go in from a number of businesses. And so relate it back to you. What equipment do you own? What collateral are you holding, right? The deed, is it paid off? She has an apartment, so unfortunately it wouldn't, it doesn't intend for the collateral to hold because she's not a homeowner. How might Jovina's employment history affect her credit worthiness? She was on the job, let's see, she always pays her debt. She hasn't had other employment since having. So we have to take a look at the whole factor of not having the employment there, right? And so we need to take a look at what income's coming in, how are her invoices, does she have any invoices out? Maybe a contract, okay, this company has booked you for a year's worth and they've given you, you know, a down payment, this is the way it's going to go. That could be taken a look at as well. And how might her personal loan debt affect her credit worthiness? In this circumstance, extremely, because this is what she's relying on, right? Her personal credit, because she may not have that collateral. She may not have that capacity in her favor. So it, again, you know, a lot of case studies come in, a lot of small business owners start, and that is their main thing, is that they don't have the capacity there, right? So other considerations by lenders, what do we consider? Background, general questions. General questions could just be how you started, what is your background, what is your passion behind it, who do you have supporting you? And when you say support, it goes into the next one, management and employee questions. How many people do you pay on the payroll? Is it, you know, something trendy? Is it something to where you only need yourself to have as a employee and not necessarily have too many people on the payroll? If it is on the flip side, then who do you have as your successors as far as CFO, COO, marketing, all of that? All of those are in consideration. Again, we have people who are DBA requesting for lending, and then we have, you know, LLC, corporations, all of that. So we have a supportive small business that it could be a number of things as far as management and employee questions. Business operations questions. So business operations could be, you know, again, what contracts do you have? What invoices do you have out there? What do you have that could hold tight on your invoices and money coming in, right? Because you need the demand to be paid for in order for you to be able to make your supplies or make your product and roll it out. Financial questions. So financial questions and personal questions can go hand in hand. What do you have on hand? Liquid money, investments, 401ks. Do you have co-signers, whatever it may be. Personal questions would be, how long have you lived in the area? Are you a homeowner? What does your credit look like? Do you have any collateral? And so forth and so on. So those are different other considerations by lenders that would have the conversation. The representative from the financial institution is going to have that conversation with you, and this is the time for you to pretty much be open, honest, and say, hey, this is what I need, this is what I need it for, this is what I could possibly, bring all your documents, and documents are always one of the questions as well asked. So we'll take a look at the documents in a little bit, but business and personal credit scores. A lot of people don't realize that there is a business credit score out there. The Dun & Bradstreet, the D&B, is created through a business credit score, and Experian Business and Equifax Business as well. So it is a driving force on making sure that you have it separated as well. Your business accounts need to be maintained separately, and your personal credit score. You do have, there is a FICO, Small Business Scoring System, which pulls from your personal and business credit scores together. How similar are they? It is one thing of a different scoring system, and we'll have up to 900 on the personal, and it's a different scoring system on the business. So both business and personal credit scores are used to decide if a business or person is worthy of the loan and will repay the loan, just as the same as a personal. So you have still the ability to take a look at, will it, the loan, will it be risk, and what type of risk it is, okay? So those are still factors that are taken into consideration. And how are they different? Where they draw the information from, it is different because it's a Dun & Bradstreet. Experian Business and Equifax Business is filtered in through the business. So BBVA, you get your business credit and we send it in through there, and your personal as well. And as I mentioned, the score ranges as well is different. So what is in a business credit report? So business and organization information, it has SEC filing. So when you started, credit history about your assets. So if you have any assets that you have started out, owned, applied for, it would be on there. This additional business ownership, if you are an additional signer on another business, a commercial credit score, so that credit score that we were talking about is on there, and potential risk for failure as well. So very similar to the personal credit, whereas personal, you have the bankruptcy scoring, you have that as well on the business credit report. So steps to good credit. Building good credit, pay bills in full and on time. So very similar to the personal aspect of it. Your business, you have to maintain your payment, your capacity. Go back to those 5 C's. You have your capacity, you have your paying it down, good character, and keep credit card balances low. Rule of thumb, 30% and below is a good payoff. A lot of people nowadays, they tend to just pay it off, utilize that credit and then pay it off before that bill comes in, which is great. A lot of people utilize that for reward systems, or, just to make sure that they have in the habit, right? Ensure that your financial statements for the last 3 years record healthy financial behavior. So this time, due to what has occurred, you'll see that in the near future. A lot of people, well, I couldn't keep up with my invoices because I didn't have anybody coming in, and especially the restaurant industry. Think about the industries currently that are being hit, and what it would be the impact on them. What did they do immediately, right? Back, if we take a look at or think about back in March, what was happening with the rent, with the bills that were coming in, and how were those taken care of? Did you proactively take care of it and be aggressive in making a plan? How were you prior to that, right? Could you have withstood what we went through starting in mid-end March and withstand March, April, and May, and now we're coming up to June, right? So maintaining good credit, have and use a business credit card. Those are definitely very similar to the personal credit side. Get a business credit card, have it in your business name so that you can start the earning of business credit. Receive a data universal numbering system. So those numbering systems is very similar to the credit, it's attached to your business. And so when you have those, it's that Dun and Bradstreet number, and it's related back to your business, right? Each numbering system it follows you, so in the business, so to speak, and so it is reported that way. Subscribe to a credit reporting service and ensure information is accurate and up to date. There is a number of credit reporting agencies out there that you can make sure that you have your information accurate and reported accurately, because just like on the personal side, there could be errors on the business side as well. Borrow from lenders who report to business credit bureaus. This is a big one because there is possible business credit that is not reported, and so therefore you're not going to be showing the invoices that you've been paying on time, and it's not going to be listed there, right? So establish trade lines with vendors and encourage them to report your good credit behavior back to the credit bureau. All right, so pretty much, establish trade lines with vendors, encourage them to report your good credit behavior as well. It's one of those things that you want to make sure. With the two different types of credit scoring, you have your personal credit score, which could be 300 to 850, and your business credit score goes just 0 to 300. So, there are different credit reporting styles as it is between the personal and business, but all in all, it's relatively the same. You want to pay your bills on time. You want to establish. You want to also maintain on hand 2 to 3 years of your financial statements as well, so that when you're presenting it to the lender, they're there and reviewing what you have done. What do you do if you haven't? Well, that's where your personal is very important. If you don't have those years on your business side, you have to take care of your personal side. And so on the personal side, it's the capacity. The capacity, remember, 30% and below of what you owe. Your character, how you pay your bills, what do you have, your revolving compared to your installment. So all of that can help you on and looking and trying to obtain credit. So business loan application checklist. This is definitely one that is asked, what do I take, right? So just as same as a personal side, you create a area, either a accordion file or something that you're placing everything in there. Business credit application, your personal credit report, your personal and business tax returns, because ideally you want to keep them separate, your business financial statements and your personal financial statements. Again, you want to keep them separate. Collateral information. This is when you would have to remember that you may have a business collateral and you may also have personal collateral as well. So you want to make sure that you have it to where you have easy access to it. So sales contracts, purchase orders, those are those invoices. What do you have on hand? What do you have to where it can show that you have that business coming in, right? And so this is why you need this loan, because you have these contracts out and you need that demand to withstand. Business lease or loan agreements, your business licenses, disclosures if you have, if you own any other businesses or your business has partners. So you want to make sure that all partners as well. A lot of this comes up, or questions come up. What about my business partners? You have to have those tough conversations with them to make sure that they also have their personal credit. There cannot be, in a business loan application, there cannot be any secrets, and you cannot withstand anything, withhold anything as well from that lender, because you want to show your good character and your good faith and the ability to repay that loan. A business plan, a plus, but not required. A business plan is good to show what your signers, if you have signers to help. It shows succession. It shows what you have for the future. If you have growth opportunity, what you would do with that growth and how you would treat it and handle it. So a business plan is a good thing to have on hand always. And a business plan also is good to go back and reanalyze. So make sure that, yes, you may have a business plan when you first start, revisit that business plan, and because your goals may change. So SBA financing, so is a loan from a bank, and SBA guarantees a portion of the loan. So little known fact here is BBVA is a main SBA lender. So if we can't provide that over to you, there are small business administration help that can help you. And we may end up being the lender as well. So it includes mentorships from SBA and help for borrowers to qualify in good interest rates and financial plans. It enables borrowers to obtain loans up to $5 million. So what the SBA financing does is, if a bank can't approve you, there are other ways. Believe me, there's other lending out there that you can have, and you just have to look for it, and we could help you. So what it would look like is this. So you have SBA Loan Products Basic 7A Loan Program. It's a maximum loan available up to $5 million. It's fully amortizing government guaranteed loan. Okay, and loans are offered for working capital, expansion, and equipment. 10% down payment by a borrower, 90% bank loan. So all of these three loan programs are backed by the SBA. It is government assistance. It is not what a financial institution would do. As I mentioned, BBVA is a SBA lender, which means that, you know, the government has to get assistance, and so this is where we would work together, right? So there are different programs out there, and the 504 loan program, again, is maximum loan available up to $5 million. Loans are offered for owner-occupied real estate acquisitions, construction, heavy equipment purchases, and as you see there, 10% down payment by the borrower, 40% CDC, and 50% bank loan. Okay, so SBA Express and veteran programs, so a lot of veteran programs out there, and the maximum loan available is $350,000, and it guarantees fees waived. So there's a lot of programs out there that could help you if a lender is not able to provide you lending at the moment. There are programs, Small Business Administration .gov, I believe, and you just go through, you get that mentorship, you get the ability to create a business plan. They help you as well if you want to take that those documents that were listed in the previous slides and say, review this for me, how does this look? They can do that as well. Alternative source of funding, so CDFI, so Community Development Financial Institutions, so nonprofit funding organizations. It's a work at the community level to provide business mentoring, financing, and technical assistance. We work with one, Lift Fund is one, and there's many others. Small Business Administration as well has them. They are able to provide you with guidance and listing, and for, you know, borrowers who may not qualify for traditional loans. Again, there is alternative sources of funding out there. If a lender is not able to provide you with lending, look for these community development financial institutions because they're out there. Many lenders have special programs for businesses owned by Native Americans, women, minority groups, people who are economically disadvantaged as well. So, it's all about that small business and getting started, and it's all about that education source as well. So, in summary, short and sweet, creditworthiness for small businesses is measured using the 5 C's, which are character, capacity, capital, collateral, and conditions. Remember, think of your business just as, your personal, your budget, your personal budget and your business budget. How are you handling it? It's all about being able to split them, but treat them equally on how you are managing your funds, how everyone as well, if you have different business owners, how they're handling their personal budget, because if you need them in the future, you want to make sure that they are following the 5 C's as well. If you're running a new or small business, it's likely your business won't have much of a credit history, so lenders will rely on the business owner's personal credit report and scores when deciding whether or not to approve loans to your business. So that would mean when you are applying for a business credit card, they're going to look at your personal credit. In order to apply for small business credit, you may require a variety of legal, financial documents. So maintain those documents separate, but definitely maintain them organized so that when it is time, you can grab them and take them all. Remember, there are small business administration, nonprofits that could help you organize them. If you don't have them, maybe like a profit and loss form or a budget form, a business plan form, they have them there for you. Easy, print out, and all of that. And that is the end. So thank you so much for joining today in our fun and unusual session, but we got it through, and thank you. So if there's any chats that have come through, we can answer them.
Yeah, I have 2 questions, and thank you again for being here and navigating all the technical issues you had. That was good. Is there any sort of specific ways when you're talking about your 5 C's, if your 5 C's aren't as good as they should be, is there any sort of specific ways you could do that for your small business, or is it just what you do personally to improve those processes?
So that's a really good question, and it goes hand in hand. So you have the same way, it's going to take time to rebuild. You want to either, pay immediately, pay all the bills promptly, pay somewhat off, right? Start building that capacity. If you're at that 100% max and you're needing to get the capacity down, start chipping away at that. Maybe even looking to see towards your personal, what do you have on hand, liquid 401k loans out there so that you can grab it and then, pay it down. Because at the end, although I know I'm not, authorized to talk about, your investment, but it is your business. And if it's that your capacity is hindering your business credit score, you may have to do alternatives. If it's not family members letting you borrow a big chunk of money to pay that down, then what do you have to be able to kind of borrow against it to pay it down, right? So pay those bills promptly, keep low balances on credit cards, do not take too much debt as well. It's not about going out there and applying for debt. It's about looking at your current debt and paying it down, chipping away at it, right? Ask for that credit report. You have to read and understand your credit report so that you know what's out there. What if there's an error? If there's an error out there, then you have the ability to make a formal written inquiry to say, let's remove this. Let's work on removing this. This is incorrect. If that's the case, then you would take it off, and then your score may jump up a couple of points, right? And that may have been hindering you. So it's all about that knowledge on your credit. So that's a really good question that comes through a lot. And a lot of people don't know even where to start. They think, oh, I have this low, bad credit score. I've dug myself a hole. Now I can't dig myself out. Yes, there are definitely ways that you can dig yourself out of it. It's just going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of work. Financial institutions, I know we have branch managers that will sit down with you, financial services representatives that will sit down with you to go over that, to make a plan for you, because that is what we're there for, right? To provide solutions. Good question.
The only other question that we had was these other institutions you mentioned, other loan alternatives. I assume the SBA, the CDFI, they're going to report to credit bureaus as well to help improve your credit standing and things like that.
Absolutely, absolutely. I'm trying to see if I could find the website here of, and I can provide that over to you. So smallbusinessadministration.gov, I believe is what it is.
Yeah.
And yes, those are still loans. Just because they're backed up by the government, they're still loans, and they're still there to help you. It's just because your financial institution wasn't able to provide that over to you, it's still a loan that you have to still meet criteria to get it. It may be that you may have to get a co-signer. You may have to sign a contract. You may have to, like some of them say 10% down. That's your own money that you have to kind of put some forth effort to, but it is still a loan, and it is still a reporting loan. So good question on that as well. Borrowers can pay an upfront guarantee of 3%. Fees are waived by veterans. Down payment can be as low as 10%. And then the interest rates sometimes are negotiated between lenders and borrowers and may not exceed. So because it's government backed, there's stipulations as far as the rate as well. So it could end up being a really good product for you if you can't get financed through a regular financial institution. Good question on that. And they're there. They have the money. A lot of people don't realize that those nonprofits, that's what they're there for. And they have money to lend out. You know, they're kind of like, hey, you know, let us lend money, because if they can't lend out that money, then they're not doing what their nonprofit mission statement is, right? So they just need to you need to qualify under a certain, right? Whether it's the minority group, whether it's veteran, women owned, your topic, right? Your product, you could possibly fit under a category, and they're there to get you that funding.
Excellent. Well, I think that's all we have today. I want to thank you again for taking the time. This was very good, very informative, and glad we recorded it. So we'll make sure to get that out. But thank you, Arlene, for doing and putting all this together. This was great.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And again, you know, we have that many locations, and we're even talking, despite what's going on, we're even talking about growing as well. BBVA just had an anniversary of their branding last year. So we're ready to start, you know, sending out that we're, you know, there for anyone, just despite our branches are temporarily lobbies not open, but set by appointment in the drive-through. So we're there if anyone wants to reach out to me as well. I don't know if you set my information on the recording, but you're more than welcome to reach out to me. Any questions, we're here to provide y'all solutions. So thank you so much.
We'll make sure to put that on there. Thank you for offering that.
All right.
With that, we'll go ahead and close this one out, and we'll see you again next time.